It's another episode of the Money Talks podcast with me, Andrea Heng. Welcome. Today's episode is brought to you by Prudential Singapore. Now, when you were planning for your life ahead, you probably imagined certain milestones, right? Your education, your career, maybe starting a family of your own. But for many of us, there's a chapter that we often forget or overlook or didn't really see coming. And it's the chapter where you become the primary support system for your aging parents and raising your own children at the same time. Suddenly, you are pulled in two directions, a sense of duty to the past and your hopes for the future. And your financials are then also pulled in those directions too. So where does your own chapter fit in? Today, we're exploring how those in this sandwiched generation like you and I can build a future for ourselves. In the Money Talk seat today is Yuvaraj Uthaman, a young father juggling multiple roles. He's a marketing manager at an international business school. He's a young father with caregiving duties. And as if he wasn't busy enough, he's also a podcaster like myself. Welcome to the show, Yuva.
Hi.
I mean, how does that feel when I read out to you all of these roles that you play?
It sounds very busy.
I feel very busy for you too. I mean, how do you manage it all? I mean, does it get to your head? I mean, do you feel very stressed when you think of all these roles you play?
Not really, because I kind of like it, because that means I'm doing something with my life. As a kid growing up, I was always afraid that I'm just gonna do nothing. So having these things help make me feel like I'm working towards something.
Right.
So I mean, being goal driven helps. So I think
absolutely.
it's okay. But then you need to manage the energy, especially with a newborn.
Yeah,
And
congratulations,
thank
the
you.
way. How old?
He's 1 year now.
Right.
So is that considered newborn?
I guess so. But I just wanted to obviously paint this picture for everyone. You know, many of us in our 30s and 40s, well, we increasingly find ourselves juggling the needs of, growing children, but at the same time, we're supporting our senior parents as well. And that is becoming a growing concern for a lot of Singaporeans, right? What does this balancing act look like to you?
To me, it's a lot of a time commitment from my perspective and my experience as well. Because like for me and my family, we were predominantly also taking care of our grandparents. And I say we, it's me and my sister and a few cousins.
Okay.
We're also taking care of our grandparents. So the sandwich is like 2 loaves.
Right. So you're a top-heavy sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So the baby's at the bottom.
Yeah.
So that was the pressure. There's a lot of time and a lot of sudden things that happen. And my mom is also like approaching 70 already. So she's like considered like very old already.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope she doesn't see this, but yeah. So
All but wise.
yes, old but wise, golden.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So and my grandparents were in the 90s.
Right.
So there's a lot of sudden medical appointments that
Yeah.
come up. So there's a lot of things that you have to balance with your work, etc. And so that is the big issue. Just being, I would say, agile.
Yeah.
With how you plan things, and more so after you have a baby now, because that's oh my god, that is the most agile thing. I mean, eventually he may see this, so yes, I love you, but yet, there's a lot of being agile,
Yeah.
because like sudden and you're new. I don't have I'm in my cousins. I'm the first one to have a kid, so I don't have anyone to go to for advice.
Right.
My wife and I just have to figure things out on our own and not be stressed when things happen, and just know that it's part of the journey. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of it's a balancing act.
Yeah, for sure. Was there a time when you felt absolutely stretched to your limits with all of these things happening?
Yeah. Actually, my grandmother was sick. My mother was sick. My kid was sick.
This happened all at the same
Yeah,
time?
same week.
Oh my goodness.
And it was a busy week at work.
Wow. And a busy week at work. How do you manage that? Like, how did you get through it?
Day by day, appointment by appointment.
What if something happens? And you're so used to that. You talked about being agile and almost anticipating the next emergency, right? What if something happens? What if they need money for this? What if they need attention and time for that? It can be quite stifling. So it makes us then think twice about spending on ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? That whether it's me time or whether
Yeah.
it's spending money on ourselves
Yeah.
can be quite... We become quite reluctant to do that, right? How do you deal with that feeling?
There's a few things that I do. for me, I try not to tie down to anything like long term.
Okay.
Any like financial commitments wise.
Right.
Unless really need lah.
Right. What example? What do you mean by you're not committing to long term expenses?
Even simple things like maybe gym memberships, I don't do too long. I don't like being bound to a contract.
Right. Okay.
Per se. And things like that. I don't know if I can mention like cars and all that.
Sure,
I
of
lease,
course.
I don't buy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
Okay.
if after the agreement's done, I can just give it back if I don't want it.
That's true.
So those sort of things. And just not a lot of fancy spending.
Okay.
Be simple. That helps. But I mean, I do spend on nonsense here and there, lah, but I find it more so that I've shifted my habits from buying material things to food.
That's important, okay?
But that is also because of time.
Sure, of course, yes.
Yeah, I don't have the time. I would love to like meal prep and stuff, but the time is so hard to come by that I end up buying.
Yeah.
And because my son, we don't send to a playgroup or infant care for now, so he's
Right.
fully at home.
Right.
So if I buy food, I have to go like nearby hawker and buy something, or sometimes deliver.
Right.
So those
So do
sort
you
of-
feel like that's a bit of a sacrifice that you've had to make? Some would say compromise, some would say sacrifice,
Yeah.
that you have to make at the expense of your financials?
I would say in a way, yeah, but it's more so a time thing. It's just because it's just convenient.
Correct.
And I'm available to be present more at home because of that. These things help fit the lifestyle
Right.
and needs and personal needs. I want to be there. So
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
say it's my son imposing.
Is there something that you talked about, sometimes I spend on nonsense?
Oh, shoes.
Oh, shoes. Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to ask what was your spending weakness. So
Oh
shoes
my
are your
God,
thing.
shoes. Stupid amount of shoes.
So shoes are your weakness. How
Yeah.
how often are we talking about?
Okay, bonus time, there will be shoes coming in.
Okay. I hear multiple counts. I sense multiple pairs.
Yeah, shoes. Yes.
Okay, right.
No, to be honest, it's quarterly I buy a few. Used to be monthly before I got married.
Wow.
Then when I was shifting house,
Yeah.
then I realized how many shoes I had. Then I was like, oh God. Then yeah. So I was like, okay. The shoes I have, I wore only a few.
Right.
The rest were for occasions that never
Right.
came.
Yeah. Do you also feel that, having these changed habits as a young father and all that, do you feel like you're also sacrificing on planning for the future? Again, I go back to what I said earlier, right? What if something happens?
Yeah.
So, by sacrificing on certain expenses, do you feel like you are also not and you said you're not sort of spending on anything long term in terms of your gym memberships and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's also a bit of a sacrifice on future planning, crisis planning financially, or do you treat that as a separate matter in your mind?
I take it monthly. In Singapore we earn monthly paychecks, right?
Sure.
So for me, yeah, the shoes are an example of I mean, it's not an essential, so it's a thing that I did sacrifice considering my lifestyle before
Yep.
and the temptations now. And I even switched. I used to do a lot of long haul travels, but now everything Southeast Asia just to
Right.
cut costs. So these sort of things I changed. I view it as a lifestyle change rather
Okay.
than sacrifice of specific categories.
So the money that you've saved from
Yeah.
cutting all these expenses, where does it all go to?
Investments, milk powder, diapers.
At least you said investments first. So you're sort of taking care of some financial planning lah.
Yeah, so it's I used to invest a bit more amount wise,
Sure.
but not because there's a lot of expenses coming. And fun fact, I moved into my house and had my son at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
That was not fun.
Wow, no.
That was not
I
fun
don't
at
think you
all.
would recommend it to anyone.
No, my wife and I suffered, honestly.
Oh,
And somehow she was postpartum.
Oh no.
So it was very taxing for her. Like, when my son was born, he was born
Right.
at like 2 a.m.-ish, 2 plus.
Right.
We came back to the ward at like 7.
Okay.
And I had to sign off on renovation plans. So I was like, bro, there's so many things. Like, okay, sign now. Please do the work properly.
Yeah.
So that was a unique experience because
Yeah.
so my wife was like recovering and all that, and so I had to go up and down to like make sure the works were done,
Right.
plugs were in the correct places,
Oh,
those sort of
dear.
things. So yeah, just a lot of on and off things and finding appliances and all at the same
Yeah.
time. So so at that time it was very stretched because the renovation costs, and moving costs,
Yes.
packing, and then dealing with
A newborn baby.
and you can't prep. I mean that you mentally initially, you'll know, I told myself that, okay, baby's coming, you probably can't be able to sleep. Yeah, fine, you will be able to adapt. But going through the lack of sleep,
yes.
oh my God.
Yeah. Theory versus practical. Never ever.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever match
It
up.
sounds okay, I can do this. But when you're doing it, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But oh my God, the headaches.
Yeah.
Literally headaches.
Well, other parents are signing off on their children's birth certs. You were doing that and signing off on other documents too.
Yeah. So lowered expenses by lifestyle. Just try to cut down my monthly spending as much as I can. Investment, yes, a fraction of it goes there.
Okay.
It used to be a higher number. Now it's a little bit lower because the number is
you
spread
adjusting
elsewhere.
accordingly.
Just adjust accordingly. So it's just about I just try to ensure that there's something there for him in the future. I view it as like whatever I have now. Sometimes I wanted to take out and spend on myself, but when I say it's useful for him in the future, then I don't. So I juggle that dilemma. Selfish or be a parent. For now, thankfully, I'm choosing being a parent.
So obviously, you have a day job. You have your young family. You've also you've got your top heavy caregiving duties, but you've also got a couple of side gigs. I mean, that is a lot of juggling. How did these side gigs start?
For those who don't know, it's a Tamil-based podcast based in Singapore, right? So the idea behind it was we wanted to give something back to the community and for the language and the society. So we started the show because of that, and through like hard work and opportunity, we have grown over the past 5 years.
Have you guys monetized the podcast?
So thankfully, at this stage, we do make some money at times throughout the year, and it's growing, which is great, which is like showing that there's some reward for all the hard work that you've put in, because it's not easy to manage, because there's okay, for context, there's 4 hosts. 3 of them are fathers, myself included. One is expecting a kid anytime now.
Right. Wow. Okay.
And another one has a kid who's 2 years old, and me who's 1 year plus.
Right.
So we have that. So all of us are juggling that, and all of us just moved into our houses. So
all of you are sandwich generation examples.
Yeah. So there's a lot of being. I mean, I used the word agile just now, right? So there's a lot of being agile with regards to that, and running a podcast also costs money.
Yes.
So like studio rentals, equipment rentals, everything. So our dollar is also put here. So now a lot of times, I mentioned monetizing it. Most of the time covers costs.
Okay.
And then profits come up sometimes seasonally.
Sure.
But it's in a good place now.
Okay.
Every year is getting better, which is great.
Great.
And for me personally, my idea is that if it eventually grows into something very, very big, then it's an option for my son as well. I mean, I don't want to say you must do this. I mean, that's bad, but if it's an option for him, then that's great. Which is why, and my wife also sees it, because I mean, when I go for recordings, my wife has to take care of the kid, right?
Correct.
So it's not just me being career driven and everything's good at home. My wife does a lot of work, so it's not a one-man thing. So my partner does support, and all of our partners do support. So when we are away, they take care, and they also see the goal. They also see the prospects, and we tell them sometimes there's money coming in, and when we say it more often, then they also. It's easy for them to understand.
It's an easier sell for family members who may be a bit maybe hesitant at the start.
Because we're doing something digital, right? So you don't get the gratification, or you don't see anything. You see comments and likes on social media, yes, but that's not.
They don't translate to money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when they see that, okay, there's partnerships coming, we are building business opportunities here and there, then we all know we are working towards the same thing.
Right. Yeah. That's great. So you talked about how you had some investments, and then I understand you also have some insurance as well. Very smart. But here's the thing though, Yuva, not everyone, especially in our sandwich generation, can afford to do both.
Yes.
What made you decide to start building these foundations, and at such a young age too? I mean, that must have come with some foresight as well.
So my mom and dad were very pro insurance, pro investment planning.
Okay. So you had some kind of financial literacy coming from your parents.
To some extent.
Okay.
They made me aware of that side of things. So I had that foundation.
Right.
And I've seen insurance come into play very important, because my father used to have leukemia.
Oh, I see.
So insurance played a very big part in managing the costs associated with that.
I see.
I mean, he's since passed, so we've seen how it helps,
Okay.
like practically, because it's not. I mean, I've seen the bills.
Yeah.
It's not a small.
It's not a walk in the park.
No, and it's a long-term condition. So
Yes.
every time you visit and get your chemo, this and that, the amounts really add up.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle class. Like I'm middle class background, right?
Right.
So it's a lot of a lot of work, a lot of money that went there. So thankfully there was that. So I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I myself have gone through quite a few knees. I have bad knees.
Oh dear.
So,
From sports.
football.
Okay. Or
Yeah.
you tore your ACLs?
Meniscus.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so painful.
No, it's just me being stupid. Because I tore it once. Then
Right.
I had 2 other tests.
I see.
That's because I didn't stop.
Okay.
So yeah.
Youth. The
Yeah.
foolishness of youth. But I mean, insurance covered that because
Insurance,
you
yeah,
had
it
it.
helps because these were legit accidents. I
Yeah.
didn't go and like smash my own knee or something. So this was legit accidents. So
Right.
it helped manage the cost with regards to that. And I was recovered also. It's just bad luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, those things happen.
Okay.
Then so I've seen
Right.
lived example, first-hand experience.
So does your wife also have the same belief?
She has insurance as well.
Okay. Good.
So her parents have exposed her to her
Right.
whole thing. So she also
Okay.
has insurance.
That's good.
So thankfully we have that. Investments, yes, my parents made me aware of these things, but at the same time I also wanted to learn how to do it myself.
Yes, so that was going to lead to my next question.
Yeah.
How did you do it differently from your parents?
They set the base. I just wanted to take it one step further, right?
Right.
So my idea was, okay, I wanted to know how it works.
Okay.
I wanted to know how much you should research before buying a certain stock or
Sure.
buying an ETF or crypto or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my thing. I wanted to make a bit more informed decisions and be a bit more active because I felt that would be the next step.
Yep.
If I know this, I can teach my son, I can teach my wife.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So that was the idea behind it. I just wanted to there's one part where I have someone else helping me with this, and there's another part where I'm also doing it myself so that I just know what to do in the future, and it just makes you a bit more knowledgeable.
Of course. And
If
it gives you ownership, a sense of ownership
It does,
over the
it does, it
decisions you
does.
make, right?
And you feel smart when you make
I,
right?
I know, but then at least when it's a mistake, when you find out it's a mistake, you kind of own it as well. You can't
Yeah.
blame anyone but yourself,
Correct,
and you learn
absolutely
from
right.
it, right?
Yes, correct.
So, how do you then decide where to put your money? So you talked about, how you reduce some of your investment holdings and stuff like that, right? So, in any given month, how do you divide your money? How do you decide where to put it?
Okay, firstly, bills.
Yep.
Plan.
Bills in full.
Pay your bills.
Yep.
You have a budget set aside for your monthly expenses.
Sure.
Things like your groceries, your dishwashing liquid, those things.
Yep.
Household stuff.
Yep.
Now my son is 1, so we know how much we spend on his food, his milk, etc. So there's a range set for that. I also
Okay.
have a dog.
Oh,
I'm super agile with him.
yeah.
He's more agile than a baby, I swear. So he's the one, yeah.
Okay.
He's very reactive to weather, so he gets rashes all the time.
Oh no.
I know. So yeah, you have a range. So I use the word range because these things fluctuate, right?
Of course, yes.
So a range set aside for all living things, basically.
Yes.
So
Anything that you have to keep alive, basically.
yeah. So for your monthly expenses, for the lives, you have fixed amount of fixed ranges.
Yep.
And your bills include things like I put my insurance and investment everything under bills.
Ah, okay.
I
Because
just-
it's a monthly expense to you, right?
No, the ones that I pay someone else to do,
Okay.
like an insurance company or something, that I put that under bill because I legit have to pay a bill
Sure.
monthly, right?
Yeah.
So or anyway, some people do annually, so you have that. So I put that under bills.
Yes.
Then I'm left with X amount, right?
Right.
The X amount goes into things like maybe transport, food, personal expenses. Then I put a certain amount. Then you have with your, disposable income. That's the term that you spending power.
Yes.
In that amount, I try to allocate a certain portion to savings, certain portion to investments.
Right.
And that's what,
Well,
that's how it goes.
Nice and neat.
It's very categorical.
Yeah, very categorical.
Works with ranges.
Yes.
So that I used to work with X amount,
Right.
but the amount kept changing, so I found it very hard to toggle. So I just put like a 200 buffer either way.
Right. Yeah, I think buffers are a good way of sort of approaching finances that are very unpredictable.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So speaking of unpredictable expenses, you talked about how you had to take care of your parents, your mother, as well as your grandparents who are still alive, right? You take turns with your cousins. Where does the money for those expenses come from? Do you fork it out as well, or is that something that comes from a pool?
That one comes from a pool. So certain portion from MediSave and all, right? So for my grandparents, her kids handle the expenses,
Ah, okay.
right?
So you're just the ones taking her for appointments.
Yes, we are their
The chauffeurs.
and medical experts.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
You need to interpret what the
We need to
doctor's telling
know
them.
what medication they're taking.
Yeah.
Then they'll ask you any allergies. What medication is she taking? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we need to know all this.
Okay, so things have been set up and organized
Things have been
then.
set up. Yeah.
So what about your son? How do you plan for your son's financial future? What do you do? I think you talked about something about setting aside for him as well, right? So what exactly is that?
Basically, whatever savings I have and whatever investments that I have, I think subconsciously I just say it's for him in the future.
So it's not, you don't really think about it as for yourself per se.
No lah, honestly, whatever I have is going to him anyway. So, but it's a shift that happened organically. I view it like now. I mean, my wife and I view whatever money we have as our family's money. So it's not my investment now. I mean, technically yes, it is. But the money, I just find okay. Eventually he'll get married.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, not imposing, but eventually he may get married.
Yeah.
He will probably want to get a house, those sort of things.
Education and stuff like that,
So the money is eventually going to go there. And if you calculate like the amount you have and probably what's going to cost in the future, it will probably be just nice.
Any plans to sort of put it in a formal sort of endowment fund, for example, or anything like that for him?
Maybe, not yet. But the reason why I say maybe is because these things are in my mind, but I haven't had the bandwidth to plan.
I don't blame you. You have so much on your plate, but the thought is there.
The thought is there. The thought is there.
Okay.
Because,
and at least you're getting started by allocating those investment earnings to your son.
Yeah, correct. So so the idea is that when he's of a certain age, he must have something to at least get him started. But I'm also very conscious that I don't want to give everything because then there's no accountability, no responsibility. So I want him to know. So my idea is that, okay, hopefully this part he don't see. The idea is I won't tell him there's all this, you work and you save.
Maybe you don't send him the link to the podcast until he's like 18.
Like if he see lah.
But are you planning to sort of teach him how to save and invest all the financial things that you know right now?
For sure, yeah. It helps. Because like for me, I'm more savings first because my parents taught me about savings first, right? So I have that. But the literacy with regards to long-term planning, I it's an observation that I made from my parents and also gaps that I saw with what could have been done better.
Right.
So the idea is that I give my templates from my learnings to my son, and he can do the same thing. See what I have not done, and then maybe he can pick things up.
Because things will change by the time he's all grown up.
Yeah, and we have like now everything's the digital.
Yeah.
So
things change so quickly, you can't keep up, right?
Yeah. So just be aware.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Yeah, and constantly learn.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go back to your podcast earlier, right? And how, you have a group of peers. Basically, you're all about the same age. You'll have young families. You all are also a sandwich generation, meaning you take care of your senior parents as well. What are some of the common issues that they've expressed in these conversations with you about financial planning as a sandwich generation person?
It's pretty much similar because all of us have similar incomes.
Okay.
Similar incomes. We all live in BTOs and we all have 1 to 2 kids and we all got married in the same 1-2 year range. All of our parents are able to manage their finances, thankfully. So that's a good thing. But then one thing I haven't touched on is for us, right, there's also our parents also always give back money to their parents when they were working.
Yes.
And we grew up observing that.
Yes.
So even though we don't pay bills or anything for our parents, it's always in the back of my mind that, okay, you should be giving a certain amount of money to your parents every month. It's always in our minds to do that. But I don't know about some of them, but like for us, we're trying to manage, get stable with what we're doing with our family first and then eventually give back. So that's something that's in the long term. So that's an additional thing that we want to do.
Okay.
But all of us approach it same way, categorical spending.
Okay.
But the taxing thing has always been to do with time and actually how you manage these finances to keep it low. Because sometimes when you're like paying for things, you just pay, and then you only the bill comes out. I spend so much. So it's about being very conscious about every time you spend something in this phase of life.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all trying to do, and we all manage for now.
Right.
Yeah.
So on that note then, Yuva, what is a single piece of advice to anyone watching or listening to this right now? They are in their 30s and 40s, they are sandwiched, they have kids or thinking about kids, and they have elderly people to take care of as well. What's one piece of advice you would give them?
Financial, I would say I myself am learning. But I would say that basically map out your spendings. There's the best exercise that I've done for myself personally. I just did it last month because I was quite overwhelmed.
Okay. Oh dear. With too many shoes.
So the best advice I would say is I literally put down all my expenses in an Excel sheet.
Yep.
So then I know black and white what I'm spending, and even the range. I put the high range and the low range so that I know my final range.
Yeah, the ranges are a very good idea. Yeah.
So I listed all of my expenses and put my salary at the top and then minus.
And then you start seeing things deplete.
You see things, but you see things you see your final number very clearly at the end. And then I did I've been exposed to some media where some people do 20% savings.
Yep.
So some people work with ratios, so you have to decide at the end with what you're left with, what percentage goes to where. And this is entirely subjective.
Yeah.
Some people like to work with amounts. I want to save 500 a month, some people want to save 1,000 a month, some people want to save 20% a month. So that's entirely up to you. So the best exercise that I've did for myself is listing everything so that I can clearly see. If not, it's all off the top of your head.
Exactly.
Which is very, very unpredictable. It's not as it's not as black and white as we think.
Yeah. And it's a mental burden as well. When you see it out black and white, it's out of your brain.
Yeah.
You have one less thing to think about because you've already put pen to paper, right?
And you know exactly what you have, exactly what you have to play with, and then you will actually know what can be allocated where.
Yuva, you've been a great person to talk about this with. I mean, I'm quite on the older end of the sandwich generation, and I already feel like there's so much that I can learn from this conversation. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us.
No, it's been a great experience for me as well, because when I'm just going through life, right? So I know I do certain things, and I'm trying to get better also, but having this conversation helped me realize, okay, I'm doing certain things and certain things can be improved.
Always.
So it's been a good learning experience for me as well.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thank you. I feel the same way. It's a nice mutual benefit there, and I hope that you as well, watching and listening, have benefited from this conversation. If you've got any comments or questions, you can always leave us a message. Write to us at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. Money Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Me Listen. Please rate us wherever you're listening from. Thanks to the team. As always, Tiffany Ang, Netfit Alvero, Junaini Johari, Ho Pei Ning, Joanne Chan, Charlene Tan. And video and sound by Hanida Amin. I'm Andrea Heng signing off for the Money Talks podcast. This episode was brought to you by Prudential Singapore.